Now I'm going to assume that if you're trying to take on a project like this and mounting it in here, then you already know how to get your headlight out of your car. I don't want to go outside and show you how to do that. I'm feeling lazy and I'm working on these headlights. I can give you the verbal rundown though. Go get yourself a Phillips head screwdriver, go outside, pop your hood. Once you pop your hood, look right behind your headlight. Behind your headlight, you're going to see a little tab. The tab's going to have a Phillips head screwdriver placement spot. It's probably going to be the only thing around that's going to have a Phillips head screwdriver placement spot. Put it in, turn it, tab will turn. Once the tab turns away, it'll look like a little airplane wing. Just grab the whole headlight housing and it'll slide forward out of the car. And then you get on to the fun parts. What's up, everybody? I promised you a tutorial on how to pop the headlight lenses on your 2012-2019 Volkswagen Beetle. I assume they're all, well, like the projector ones might be a little bit different, but these basic ones right here are all going to be the same. And it's pretty simple. I got it first shot, minimal tools. I'll tell you what you're going to need. I know this one looks like hell, but you've seen what I'm going to do to them with the LED halo projectors. I got to buff these, polish, and I got to finish up some painting on the inside, trimming. But ignore the ugliness because these will be pretty in a few days. But I'm going to show you how to get the lens off. Some people put them in the oven, and that's fine. When I do the self-cleaning thing on my oven, it smells so bad that I have to get out of the house for like the whole day. I was scared the headlights were going to have chemicals and bugs and stuff on them, so I didn't want the house to smell funky. So I just went to the workshop and I busted out my handy dandy heat gun, and it works just fine. This one has two settings, a low and a high. I just kept it on low and kept it moving around the edges. What you're looking for is this edge right here actually has the adhesive on it, this black part. And then there are little clips that I'll show you here momentarily that you're going to need a plastic pry bar for, or a flathead screwdriver if you're adventurous like me. I could not find my plastic pry tool. Anyway, once you run the heat gun around the perimeter for, I don't know, let's call it 7 or 8 minutes, and it's nice and hot enough to where when you touch that plastic, it's like, yo, that's a little too hot to keep my finger there. Go get your pry tool. Once it's heated up all the way around the edge, go get your pry tool or your flathead screwdriver and just find yourself a nice little spot that's thick enough for whatever tool you're using to fit inside of there, and just start. You'll hear the glue making that sticky coming apart sound, and just work your way all around the edge nice and slow. And then there's a lip here on the back of this plastic edge, believe it or not. I just took my fingers and I grabbed the plastic here and I just spread real hard and it started to come apart. And then I found all the little clips. Hang tight. Alright, so once you get it hot enough and it comes off, it doesn't even leave a residue on here. You'll see that there's little, might be kind of little teeny tiny, they're not necessarily tabs, but they're like, I guess they're lineup tabs. They don't hold anything, but they do help you line this thing back up. Now on the inside, there's a trim ring, and it's not attached to anything on this plastic. It just kind of sits in there. And you, now, sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. So there's, alright, so you'll see it here. On this part, there's a little plastic doodle there. That's actually on the inside. Terrible angle. Anyway, it's that plastic little piece is holding that plastic piece on. I lied. It's actually, you have to pull these, just pull them out with your finger. They're just being held in with pressure. Again, one-handed. Alright, so That's what I was showing you. That plastic hole, yeah, goes around. Let me see if I can find it. That little plastic tab right there. And that's what holds your trim inside your lens. Now, once you've got that apart, it's apart. And you got to make some decisions on how, once you do whatever it is you're going to do to the inside of your headlight, how you're going to put them back together. Now, they're obviously going to go back together the only way they go back together, but how are you going to stick them together? In case you have to get back inside of them again, do you want to reheat them? Or, like I said, you got to make some decisions. I have been racking my mind the best way to do it. Heating them up was not that big of a deal, so I think I'm going to use probably some sort of epoxy clear that can be heated up and taken off when I go to put them back together. If you super glue them, you're going to regret it because you're never going to get them open without destroying them. So don't super glue them. Another option you might have is go out and buy some Gorilla Glue double-sided hook and loop Velcro and cut it into thinner strips than it comes in, and then line the actual maybe inside of this. That would probably work pretty good, and then you would just have a detachable Velcro headlight lens if you could get that to work. I've thought about doing that too. I'm probably just going to go with the epoxy. I'm not sure what they use to seal it from the factory. It works fine, but it doesn't hold up to a heat gun very well. So, yeah, that's about the extent of that. I'll show you quickly what I've done to this one to modify it a little bit to hold the light that I'm doing. So, once you get yours open, you'll see that it's got this big round reflector in it, but when it gets to the top right here, it actually doesn't follow this contour. It flattens out. So when I tried to stick my round 7-inch light into what's supposed to be a completely round circle, it didn't fit. It hit right here. So I took my Dremel, because there was an ugly piece of plastic here anyway, and this will all get painted. So you'll file down, sanded, and painted. So I dremeled this off with a little cutoff wheel, and then I got in there and I dremeled this off with a little the same little cutoff wheel. And it's dusty and shitty inside now, but yeah, the light basically. Let's see if I can grab it. All right, we're back. Like I was saying, this part wasn't round, so it didn't fit my perfectly round headlight. So I dremeled that off. We're going to file it, paint it. You'll never see it once the headlight's in there. I'll show you. This mess right here is actually the original. It's a little bracket that comes out, and it's got a thing on it. It's a reflector, and your bulb is supposed to shine into that reflector, then get reflected into this, and then boom. That's how that works in the factory one. I ran out of cut-up wheels for my Dremel. Now, by the way, a lot of this stuff actually just comes apart with a little teeny tiny Allen wrench or something like that. But I do things different, I guess. So if I could just hack it off and I know I'm not going to use it, I'm just going to hack it off. Anyway, I ran out of cut-off wheels and I couldn't get that all the way off, so it's just in there looking like hot garbage. But you will see what I'm getting at here. So this 7-inch round daymaker, basically you're going to take your wiring for this particular one and run it through where the other wiring would go. And then this now sits in there like that. And because this has the halo function on it, it is also a blinker. And I didn't run my daytime running lights anyway. I don't like them, but the way this thing lights up, it gets into this and it prisms and it lights all this up too. So I'm going to leave that inside because it looks pretty cool when everything's going on. But there's the holder for the light is there, but I don't run the daytime running lights because if I want to run these at night, but I want to turn the key off on the car and not run the car all the way, there's no way to turn the daytime running lights off and then have your cool headlights doing all their shit too without a big donkey daytime running light over here. So that's why I don't run them. But so you'll see I'll trim that back. You'll never see that. And then it'll all get painted black. And then that bad boy just fits in there. And whichever one you buy, a 7-inch, whatever, light that you decide you want to get in there, if you have somebody make you some or whatnot. And then again, you've got more decisions. So how do you mount this light to this bracket? I've got some thoughts. I use this stuff all the time called JB Weld Stick. It will weld anything to anything, basically. And it comes in a little stick, and you mix the two together into a putty, and you can use it with your hand, and you can place it wherever you want. I'm going to use it to use just a couple of these cooling fins on the back here to just probably 1, 2, 3, 4, the contact spots. And once it dries and cures in 24 hours, this light isn't going anywhere. It'll be in there. Well, it'll be attached to this permanently. This comes out. And by permanently, I mean, yeah, probably permanently. You're probably not getting that off once you JB weld it, or however you decide to do it. You could probably go with the Velcro, like I said, but humidity is eventually going to get to you, and I find that JB Weld Stick works pretty good. So once you got everything apart and you decide which light you're going to use, and then you've done whatever you want to do to fit your lights inside of there, however you got to modify it, basically all you have to do is make it pretty again if you want to. So paint everything up, file it down, get your light mounted in there, get it secured in there, and start on the other one basically, and then you just wire them up. And if you're lucky and you decide to use a headlight like this, hopefully you'll get a cool effect like that too. But that's basically it. I'd show you with the lens on, but the lens is hot garbage in it. Look at that. So I gotta buff them lenses out. These individually they have lenses on them on the inside too. They're sealed, so nothing's getting inside of them. Yep, so I still gotta get the other one, the whole housing out, and do everything I've done to this one so far to it, but I figured I'd fuck one up before I'd fuck two up, so far so good. Yeah, so anyway, that is basically the tutorial on how to get your lights open and get any 7-inch sealed headlight inside of it. And then you got to make your own decisions on how you want to seal it, how you want to mount it, and all those things. I'm going to make a follow-up video once I get that lens buffed out and get everything painted. I'll start sealing things and mounting things, and I'll show you how I did it, and maybe that's how you'll do it. Probably not. I don't do things like most people do. You might have a better idea, and I would like to hear them in the comments if you think you've come up with something better than whatever I've said in this video. Let me know before I get these things sealed up and I can never get them back open again, or every time I open them I'm picking bugs out of the Velcro or whatever. That's it for today. I'm going to go edit this up, get it up. Hopefully it helps some of you get your headlights open and make some custom headlights, because there's only 2 options for headlights for this car. You can get the basic ones like all your basic Beetles have, and then you can get the super projectors, and they're nice. They're nice, but they're not $1,000 nice. Especially when you can do something like this for less than $100 if you just take your time. So, yeah. Give that a shot if you want. If you got any questions, comments, or whatever, comment underneath the video, like, subscribe, and share, and that's how I pay for car parts. Thanks, guys. Later, taters.